Gentlemen, you should have no shame about erectile dysfunction. You know, when I was a child, probably in the late 70s, I remember sitting at the edge of my grandfather's bed and he had a tray full of pills. And when I was looking at them one time, one of my aunts, she tried to embarrass my grandfather when he wasn't around by saying that one of the pills were his penis pills. She used a different term, but she said it was one of his penis pills. I had no idea what it meant, didn't understand what she was saying at the time frame. But one thing I learned from my grandfather at that time frame of my life is that there is absolutely no reason for you to be ashamed about anything. My grandfather was not a man of shame. If something was, it just was. And whether or not somebody knew about it, he didn't care. His transparency was a big moment in my life. When she said that those pills on the side were his penis pills, I was just like, okay. And my grandfather never showed any embarrassment about it. But of course, as time went on and I grew older, many men were embarrassed if they had some type of erectile issues. And then when Viagra came out, it has started to become more normalized. You start to see it on television, you see the commercials. But men are still ashamed if they are suffering from any type or any form of erectile dysfunction. Now, the thing about it is that every man, at some point, your testosterone levels start to go down. Especially after you retire, you become more sedentary, you start losing muscle, your blood flow changes. If you have heart disease, if your arteries are clogged, all these different things that prohibit blood flow, and one of the biggest things is stress, can create an issue there. But many men are still embarrassed. Many men will slide in one of those pills and try to sneak it in. The main reason is because a man who has issues getting it up will feel embarrassed or not feel as manly as he should. His confidence is then hampered. But it needs to be normalized, because your confidence as a man has absolutely nothing to do with your ability to get an erection, especially once you pass around like 45, 47, somewhere around in that number, and those T levels start going down. So let's talk a few minutes about what can you do about it. And this was one of those conversations, and it's funny. It was one of those conversations that when there was just a group of men sitting in the cigar lounge, we could have that conversation. But as soon as a woman walked in, every man would shut up. Every man would be quiet, except for me. But all the rest of them would be quiet. And so out of respect, I would be quiet and end the conversation. But I've never understood the shame of it. You know, as a 53-year-old man, I have no problems in saying that sometimes it happens that there are occasions, especially if my back is hurting, or like right now, my shoulder has been killing me for the last few months. That pain is very distracting. That pain can cause your body to just be like, nah, bruh, not tonight. So to be able to reach over and grab a little something, break it in half or in a quarter, and then ignore the pain and you good to go. There's nothing wrong with that. And then there are just sometimes when there's no problems, no issues, no stress, no back pain, no shoulder pain. And you only get about 85, 95% of an erection. You can't do everything the way you want to do it at that state, but you're okay with it. So how do we alleviate some of these things? First thing you have to get rid of is the shame of it all. It is not shameful. You're getting older. Your testosterone levels will drop. There's not a whole lot you can do about it. Sure, you can take some testosterone pills. You can, and I would imagine that's what my grandfather was taking back in the late 70s. But there are some things you can do about it. First thing, your health. You got to learn you got to keep working out. You got to do some resistance training. You got to build muscle. The more muscle you build, then the better your blood flow will continue to flow. For lack of a better term, it will just continue to flow. And so if you found yourself developing that, less muscle, then get back in the gym. If you're not in the gym, every day do some push-ups, do some planks, do some mountain climbers, do things that causes your body to build muscle with resistance training, but also some cardio so that your blood flow will continue to fight against your low T's. Then it's your diet. If you got a big gut, your body is trying to push blood flow in and around that gut, and it's causing you not to be able to have as much blood flow in your genital hip flexor area. So that is a cause of it. So we got to get rid of the gut. Eat more vegetables. Eat more fruit. Eat your melons. Melons are great for blood flow. Right down, especially when like watermelon, right down to the rind. You got to eat that shit. But keep eating melons. Of course, there are other natural things you can take and eat, whether it's the, my brain just dropped some of those items. But you guys put them down in the comments of some of those things like ashwagandhas and those sorts of things. If they work for you, great. It's not going to work for everybody, but if they work for you, great. Take them, eat them, drink them, make them into a smoothie, take supplements, whatever you need to do. But you can build your body in such a way that you don't suffer as much as you would if you didn't do these things. Learn to meditate. You want to de-stress. If you have a stressful job, you have a stressful home life, if you just stressed over money, you're stressed over your health, you're stressed over anything, that stress can mentally cause you to have some levels of erectile dysfunction. Oh, and by the way, this video came about because of what this young lady said. That's why that's up there. I'm real late in talking about that, right? I know she's hurt. She's hurt because a man that she was with was porn addicted, and she said it causes erectile dysfunction. I went and researched a whole bunch of different studies. Most of those studies that says that pornography causes erectile dysfunction, they are hit or miss. It's possible, but not agreed upon by all scientists, all doctors. Actually, some doctors are utilizing pornography in order to help people who have erectile dysfunction. But yes, it can also desensitize a man. It can also mentally change a man's perspective on what arouses him. So it's a little on that one. It's not conclusive, so I can't really speak to that too tough. But it just made me think about the fact that men are often embarrassed, and sometimes women will embarrass a man, especially if you're an older man dating or married to a younger woman. It can be embarrassing. So you got to ignore all the bullshit that's going on. But you got to de-stress. You have to eat better. You have to build muscle. Those things will help you. You have to eat foods that will increase your blood flow, and those things will help you. It may not 100% cure it, and that's fine. If you need to take the Viagra, the Hims, the Cialis, the honey, whatever it is, then go ahead. And don't be ashamed of it, because there's nothing to be ashamed about. You know, at least when you take it. And ladies, understand this. You don't want to embarrass your man, because at least when he takes it, he got a rager going. And that's what you want. You want the rager going. Now, if you have high blood pressure or any heart issues, you got to be mindful, because it can cause you to have headaches and things of that nature. So be mindful of it. Check with your doctor before you take it to make sure it's something that you can take. But don't be embarrassed about it, because there's absolutely nothing to be embarrassed about. You know, if you got an 80%, 90%, 95%, and you're good with that, keep rolling. But there are things you can do to make it easier, give you a better erection. But at the end of the day, don't be embarrassed. And if you need supplements, I can take them. Who cares what other people think? As long as you and your woman are fine, don't give two rat's asses about what other people think, because I don't give two rat's asses about what other people think. And if somebody try to use that against you, if somebody tries to make you feel embarrassed about it, that's not a person you should be with. You should walk away from that person, because they have a vindictive nature, and you don't want to be with someone with a vindictive nature. So hope that is helpful to some of my guys out there, and to the ladies. And always remember that you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.